The world of Tamriel doesn't need any introduction anymore. Its regions are memorable. In this big adventure game, you take a quest on one of these regions and your guild trying to go against the plans of Dislandra. Today, we unbox the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era from Cheeses Games. Let's go! Welcome to Jeux tous Azimuts, gaming in all directions. My name is Gilles Duval. Like and subscribe below. There will be timestamps for everything because this unboxing is going to be a little bit different in a sense that we're going to go from box to deluxification and back to the box in order to appreciate those deluxifications a little bit better and understand how they go into the base game. Cheeses Games don't do small games. Actually, they do. They have their 20 Strongs line, which is fantastic as well. But they're doing big box games. Cloudspire. They're also mainly known for Too Many Bones. They also have Burn Cycle. And now they attacked the Elder Scrolls. Now, this game is a heavy one. Physically, this box is over 20 pounds. They mentioned in the campaign, because that was a Kickstarter, a GameFound campaign, that it was above Gloomhaven and just below Frosthaven. So it's over 20 pounds of material just in the base game. So let's take a look at what it is. Look at the beautiful box up the front. The sides are interesting as well. The back is beautiful. Takes a lot of strength to pull it up, and it's not it's in two parts. The lid is in two parts, as you can see, so it is kind of expected for you to store it that way. It fits in a Kallax, and with the expansion this thing's going to grow a little bit like this, so that way in the Kallax it will fit anyway. But before we get to the box, before I'm putting it down, before we get to the box, this thing has been sitting in my garage for a little while to show, because see how heavy it is. I was waiting for another piece of the puzzle to arrive, and that's what I want to show you first. It's the Playmat. The Playmat is too big for my table, so I'm going to try to show it to you as best as I can, but it is way too large for my table, but for the game it's perfect. It's 36 by 60, I think, and it's a beautiful mat. It's a great quality. It's 3mm thick. It's the same thickness that the mat you've seen in all my videos. The same thing. It's really rich and it's beautiful. So I'm going to go from the top to open this and show you. So first of all, it starts with a great case, not the crappy one made of thin nylon that, you know, cost 2 cents to build. Now this one is beautiful. It's solid and you can reuse it. There's no symbol of Elder Scrolls except the little tag that's on the side. So if you open it, the first thing you find is this little card. I'm going to bring it up to show you. So what it does, and it explains where everything goes on your mat. Okay, because there's no main board inside the box because it's based on Neoprene pieces. But if you spread this on your table, there's room for everything. This game is I hate the word table hog because it sounds like a bad thing. It is taking a large space. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to put that aside and continue with the rest. So let's take a look at the mat itself. So I'm going to move the case away. So let's go back up again, and so you can admire the beautiful finish of it. So you can see you got your room for your main map, plenty for the delve, and if you continue, there's plenty for everything all over. You can see the shine of it. It's really, 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 really well done. And on the back, which you can use to put on your table on a more permanent fashion. I don't want to drop my stream deck up down, which I did earlier, is that Ouroboros symbol right there. You can see it. Trying to make it a little less. There we go. See, it's beautiful. Now, try to fold that back in while I'm talking to you about the game itself. It's a 1 to 4 player, so you can do this solo. Actually, it's really well done for solo, and you can, multi-hand multiple characters if you need to. So let's put this aside. All right, that should hold. Let's bring the back the box and let's open this thing. There we go. Let's go on the top and take a look. Perfect. Okay. So 1 to 4 player, and yeah, not great excitement when you see just this foam part, but this is a good sign because it means they have room for expansion. All right, the first thing you notice, besides the desiccant piece of paper that keeps the humidity out, and you want to keep that, is the first good news. There's a Dized tutorial. Now, for people who are not familiarized with this, this is a site that builds tutorials for many different games, and the beauty of this is that usually they claim you don't need the manual, just go straight to the tutorial and be happy with it. There is already a tutorial inside, so that means you kind of have two. In my plan, when I'm going to try to start to play with this, is go through this one and then go to the one inside the box. The reviews for the tutorial inside are not completely 100% positive, so that's why I'm thinking, I'm going to try that one, and then I'll appreciate the tutorial they made better. So let's put this away. A very important document for such a complex box: how to pack it back, and it is really well done. Okay, proof of that is that I put it back myself a few moments ago once I was done with the French unboxing, and I had to put it back together for you. It works fine. It's really well done. Pictures help, and you have the text on the side, an exploded view in the middle. It's really well done. It works beautifully. And in the back, we have some kind of beautiful art. Now, there's so much things we can say about this game. I think the campaign was 23. Yeah, somewhere in 23. It had a great success. And the people who worked on this, well, there's plenty, but the names that are attached to design and illustration: Josh J. Carlson, Michael Gurnis, Logan Giannini, Ryan Howard, Salim Scott, Josh Wilgus. Sorry if I mess up any of those. The artists: Chris Beck, Johan Bissonnet, Anthony Letourneau, Federico Pompili. So I wanted to talk about the art. The art is, let's put this aside while we start looking at components. The art, they could have taken the art that ZeniMax and Bethesda have for Elder Scrolls and used that art straight. No, they decided to, as they explained, they went the hard way. They created all the art from scratch. So that means they had to do the approval process from scratch as well. Meaning it took a lot of time. And as soon as you change a little bit, it goes back into the approval process. And here we go. So that's why it took a little while. They said 4 years to do. And I'm fairly sure they were busy during that time for this. So let's take a look at some of the components. So let's start with the maps. One of the material chip theory games love to use is PVC for the cards and usually for their maps. So let's take a look at what we've got here. So we have, and now these are the regions we're going to work with during the game. So we have Morrowind. Obviously these names will mean something to you, especially if you've been in the lore of this world. Morrowind was a video game. It's also presented in the Elder Scrolls Online and so forth. These are two-sided, which means you have in the back, we'll have Black Marsh. We then have Cyrodiil. Now these X's are for exploration, and you have all plenty of symbols for encounters and a point of interest. We have Irock. And finally we have a region that most people know from the other video game, Skyrim. So that's Eastern and that's Western. Now, before we continue, will there be any other regions? And that was one of the things that they asked immediately. There are other regions in Tamriel. Maybe some we know, some maybe we don't know yet. Even, ZeniMax has to finish revealing the universe there. Yes, there are. There's one extension called Valenwood, another region, and there are others in the works, as they say. And I wouldn't be surprised if a campaign came out before the end of 2025 for one or two regions that are ready for expanding this world. This campaign worked tremendously. It was really, really well received as well. Backers are quite happy. There's a 9.2 score on BGG right now with over about 1,500 reviews. So people are happy, and this is if in case you didn't understood that already, this is a deeply narrative game. There is a lot of lore, there's a lot of story, and highly, highly replayable. The next piece we're going to look at are the Neoprene maps. It comes in a nice little insert, easy to open, and it contains all the maps you need. So let's take a look at all of them. I'm going to go from the top, it'll make it easier, and we'll open it from there. So let's start with the main one. Now these are generic enough so that they are part of many scenarios. And now we have sometimes some of them will be a little more specific usage. That sounds like or looks like Skyrim. So I'm going to put that aside. Where am I going to put this? There. Then we have different sizes for those. So I'm going to put that one up here. Now this one is single-sided. The other one was two-sided. The rest are single-sided because we build on those. And we have some smaller ones. You can see, which, I can put somewhere there. I'm not going to build something that you're going to find in a scenario. I'm just putting them together so that you have an idea on how it works. So, you can put like this. And there's a third one of that size. Let's put it right here. As you can see, I'm building quite fast a structure. Now we have some smaller ones. Now we have three types of combat that will involve these maps. We have the clash that will happen mostly on the PVC maps, if I'm not mistaken. Then we have the delve, which happens on the smaller ones. And we have the dungeons, which will happen on the larger one, and a build out of all of these. So, depending on the scenario, depending on the type of combat, you will be building a different type of structure. Now we have some larger ones, so I'm going to retire the big ones. And the small ones. I'm going to just keep that one in the middle, and we're going to add those. Now they have symbols on it. You can see the X, and it doesn't hide much of the map, which is beautiful. And you know, you can build like that. Got another one right here. Another one. I'm starting to build a very large map. And that's the last one. I'll put it here. Now imagine having to explore all this region, and I could have added the others. Really nice. It's probably one, or I think it's 2 mm thick. So let's put them back in here. We'll start with the small ones. It's fairly easy to do, and if you do it right, we should do it fairly quickly. There we go. What else do we have to say about this? During the game, once you've created your character, you're going to choose a guild and a region. Once you have done those choices, that will determine the quest you're going to take. And the quest here we go. The quest will get you your story. The story is designed to be lived in 3 sessions. By session 1, you're going to have, grown your character a little bit, and by second 2, you're going to be very powerful, and by third, that's going to be the dungeon experience. That's where you're going to meet the bad boss of the Slanderer in the end, or one of their high minions, and that's where you're going to finish your adventure. During these sessions, the replayability will happen because of the choices that you're going to have done for guild, character, and so forth. All right, let's continue. We have player aids, reference cards, again, PDC, which are very well done. And I like you can hear the sound. This is general help. And then we have enemy skills reference. And you have, what you see are keywords. And keywords are very important in the game because they determine abilities like that. And depending on how you succeed or not succeed in a quest or some action, you're going to gain some keywords on your own. And later in the game, where it's going to written, if you have this keyword, then this situation applies to you, or you gain or lose this advantage. All right, next piece, the tutorial guide. Really well done. 38 pages. There's a little reference in the back. It's a beautifully illustrated. By the way, it smells awesome. Walks you through the process, building character, game setup, how to work with the mats, and the Neoprene maps, and the chips. And you start doing your first delve, and I don't think you're going to do a dungeon at that point, but you do create your first combat situation, and you go through it. Really well done. Beautiful. Again, I'm going to use the Dized first. I think that's what you should do as well, because it will, visually, it will also help you have an idea of a good setup, how to put it on your table and so forth. If you don't have, especially if you don't have the mat. Even if I play here, I won't be able to put the mat. It's 36. My table is 33, so there's 3 inches I'm losing. I'm not gonna cut the thing. There's no way. There's plenty of foam in the box also, because there's room for expansion, and right now it allows the components not to shift too much. All right, so let's take a look at the main event. If you're a technical writer, that's your main event. That's your rulebook. By the way, look how thick it is. It's over 98 pages. And like a good technical document, I'm not the only one who says that, it ends with an index and it starts with a good table of content. Perfect. So let's take a look. A few pages. Let's go by the top again. And, you know, components. Again, beautiful art, creating your character, game setup, the adventure rules. So yeah, it's really well structured. It's not saying how you're going to play from A to B. It's mostly like you're going to find the information when you seek it. Okay. And all over there's beautiful artwork. And then you have the battle rules about page 52. So if you're looking for something specific in there. So it's really, really well done. And it smells absolutely great. All right, so you go through all this, then you consult it afterwards for finding a reference. Oh. Okay, the next piece is this. These are, and show you how thick these are, there are 5 of those. These are Gazetteers. And a Gazetteer is your region scenario book. It contains, if you go to the top, first of all, spiral binder, great idea. Easy to, slip around on the corner of a table, works great. It contains the information about the different locales, the city or places you're going to visit, and describes what's in there. So is there a training place? Is there a place where I can sell or buy items? Where can I find quests? And so forth. Is there anything about my guild present there? And then you're going to find your different quests or storylines based on your guild. And sometimes you're going to have a structure of your encounter for your combat. So it's, again, illustrated beautifully. Awesome books. So you have 5 of those. Okay, so there should be 3 there and 2 on that side. 1 by each region. So these are the Gazetteer. All right, so if we take a look from the top again, we're at the next floor of our going down in this box. Let's take a look at what's around here before we dive into the player's mat. So we'll start here. Now we have an acrylic tray. This acrylic tray is for cards. And if you look closely, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. I think if when I move it around, you should be able to see that in the, so I don't know if you can see it that way, it's better. Yeah, at the base of that, you see the symbols. Yeah, there. That means it tells you what type of cards you put in each area, which is makes arranging your cards. And this is expected to be put on the table when you play. Then we have a dial holder that will hold 2 things. The dials for your number of days, if I'm not mistaken, and something else. Maybe the health of the monster, I'm not sure. And there's a place for a dice, which is the round counter. Now I'm going to make a pause on the main box because I want also to talk about these little items. These are swords heads, and let me just go at the top so you can take a look at all of them. They're all plastic, and a single one look like this. Well, it looks fine, it's decent, but why make it decent when you can make it extraordinary? This is where we stop the main box and we go into look into the deluxification. They have what they call the Blacksmith pack. That's something that's got unlocked as we went through the game, the campaign. And it contains 3 items. First, There's an Ouroboros, metal one. I'm going to go up. That will be easier for you to see. There it is. See, beautiful. That's your first player symbol. Put it back in. Back in. There's also that famous dice I was talking about. The round counter. There it is. Oops. There. And it goes, we'll go here, make it very easy to see. And the final item that's in that pack are the same pegs. That's the name I was looking for. The same pegs, but metal. Yeah, they decided to go metal for that. They look beautiful, and I'm going to show you one just like I did for the others. Looks fantastic. They're heavy enough. And what do you use them for? Well, we're going to learn that in a moment. I'm going to keep one out, that one, and we're going to just take a look. We'll put this counter away and keep that peg close. Now let's talk about the player boards. Player boards come in their boxes. They're neoprene mats, and just you see, when details are made, they matter. Look at the box. Just that little curve here, curve that you can see. Simple, but instead of fighting to open this tray, it's done. There are 4 of them. The only difference is the color: blue, green, yellow, and purplish. Let's say red. Okay, let's say red. It'll be easier. And this is the playmat. This is your character. This is how you. This is when you save your game. Now let's take a look. And multiple places on that you have small holes for the pegs, whether it's tenacity here, or it's how many dice you're going to get back from a rest period, or what kind of stance you have. Excuse me. These holes are useful. And when you're saving, let's suppose I'm saving, I'm number 1 there, saving some spots based on the top tray can stay as they are. And oh, I forgot to do this. Now my number is saved right there. You can see there. And all these dice and tokens that I will have put in these holes, I'll show you an example later, are done. But right now I wanted to show you the pegs. So we have 4 of those because you can play with 4. All right, put them there. Let's close that bag, and we're good to go. Now the next piece I want to show you, these are the cards. I'm going to keep those for a little. Oh, you know what? Let's go to those now. Simple as that. Foam again. The cards. Just look at the nice symbol. Whenever they could, they put it, which is nice. Bunch of cards with separators, which is good. To put them back in here. When you play, you put them in the acrylic box. I don't know if it holds when you put them in there. This is not planned to be sleeved. They said that they're not expecting people to sleeve, but there are some people for different reasons that do want to sleeve anyway, because it's not like you're gonna put grease on the card. You can always, wipe it compared to, cardboard or paper. So all kinds of cards. I'm gonna just show you a few of those. I don't want to open them right now until I start playing. I don't want to, spoil anything. So you have equipment. We had it for a second. I'm going to go up. It's much easier up, you can see easily. There we go. So we have all kinds of equipment. And during the campaign, there was a, what was the name of it? Thieves troves. That was 100 items that they unlocked as we completed goals during the campaign. But as they did playtesting, they noticed that these items were kind of vital to the game to make more variety. So they decided to include it in the base box so that Thieves troves is always included, so you don't have to purchase anything like that. So there's a bunch of cards, hundreds, and PVC means that that's a heavy piece. All right, next part we're gonna start looking at dice. There's one thing. You know what? Let's start with that one. There's one thing. One thing that chip theory game is good for is for dice. They use it everywhere. Instead, they don't do minis, they do chips, and they do dice. So these are fatigue dice, especially the gray and the black one. Look at the marble effect that are on them. It's beautiful. And this goes into your mat. I should keep one open all the time. I'll make it easier. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So if we go back and take our mat, and when you play an action or somehow in the game, let's put it in the right direction. When you play an action, the dice will come down here. This is your resting area, and some cards will give you or actions will give you a fatigue. That's a penalty, and you put it in here, which occupies one slot. Here determines how many dice you get back at the end of your turn, so you can reuse them soon. But however, let's say you have, probably not those that goes there, but never mind. Imagine that you can recoup only 2. Now, because I have a fatigue dice, if I take 2, I get only 1. This goes away, and I have to take 2 turns to get that. So that's the reason why it's an important part of the strategy during the game about dealing with those fatigue. And some are permanent, the black ones. So meaning you're going to stick in the queue. So put that there. We have other dice, and depending on which type of dice, they all have different faces. Okay, they've done unique art for all of them. Some are for abilities, some are for other purposes. That's why the level of rules is 4 on BGG. It's, I would say, semi-complex to complex. So you have to know, and that's why you have reference everywhere for the symbology of all these dice. The color will also help attach to either your abilities or your character. So we have plenty of dice all over. One thing is that they have planned for expansion, so that Tina 3 has almost nothing. That's because if you take the dice from Valenwood, for example, you're going to fill that one out very quickly. Another piece of foam, another piece I want to show you are the drawbacks. I'm going to put this away. The drawbacks. These are for your monsters in the form of a chip. So you put them in the bag and you draw. You have one from the 1 to level 5 and some through level 10 and 20. And those specific tokens will take that bag. I don't know exactly what they mean, but these are the types of token you take there. So that's 3 bags for doing this. Now I'm pausing again from the main box. We're going to go down and take a look at a deluxification level of this. They created especially 2 drawbacks for the monsters. And what's interesting is that these bags, they're more of a fabric rather than velvet, and they are still, embroidered with the symbols of 1, 5, and 10, 20. But the reason why you like those is because you put your chips, but they stand on the table, which means, you have a very nice presence for putting, and just the detail, the tan on black and the black on and reversing the cord and the color, just little touches that makes it beautiful. That's why they call it deluxification. All right, so that's that. Back to the box. Now, we still have some dice to look at. I'm going to finish those. Again, different dice for different skills and different abilities and different parts of the game. Let's finish. That's the last 3 for the dice. If I'm not mistaken, that's over 140, 160 dice, if I'm not mistaken. That's what they said. Okay. Chip Theory Games has the word chip in their name. Makes sense that we were going to see some chips. Let's start with the health chips. This is how you calculate how vulnerable or powerful you are. And there are 2 levels of chips. The 1 and, if I'm not mistaken, the 5. They're not all open. And, these are chips so that they make classic noise. Classic and beautiful. Again, really well done. With great tray, put it on the table. Perfect presence for the game. We take another pause. These are elf chips. They're standard. You could use those in that box and be happy to the rest of your life. And if I didn't know better, that's the ones I would be using. However, that's an all-in pledge. All-in meant they're sending you something else, which are, it's heavy. It's at least twice the weight of those. These are premium health chips. And the premium health chips means 2 things. 1, the weight. They're really, really heavy. And second, they have that little symbol on it. It's beautiful. And we have 2 types. The same way. We have the 5 and the 1s. So this replaces that tray, or at least the content of the tray. Thing is, that's an optional buy. So if you're not getting an all-in or finding a pledge somewhere with that, you don't need to. You have chips in your game. But that's an extra. We're back for the rest there. We're back in the box. And we're not done with chips. We're almost done. These are, again, those are premium chips. They're heavier. These are the monsters. And let's see if we can make it work in the front. No, it doesn't want to. Even if I hide myself. I don't know how to make it on demand. It really doesn't want to cooperate. That's why we're going to go to the top. This one is immediate. See, a Dark Elf Bandit. It's a level 5. And there's a keyword that says divert. And you go back in the behind. That's a level 1. Sorry. That's a level 10. Maiming, native. 2 keywords for that one. So we have plenty of monsters. And we have also the ones for our heroes. For example, there's one for there. Sorry about that. There. Here's our Khajiit. For a second, I lost the sense of how it looked. All right. Other things I want to mention before we move on. Hyper Deluxified chips. Throve. Plenty of narrative. The level, the quantity of content, as you can see, is exhaustive. And based on what their claim, they said that the content of this box is about 70% of the whole content that they already have for Too Many Bones, which has been out for years and years and years and as a lot. So already have that much in that single base. That's quite impressive. That's why it took them a little while to create that one. There's room for expansion. There's another empty, and the chips in there are symbols for treasure or point of interest that you put on your maps. Next we have tokens, and again it has a box, a tray for it, so we put it on the table, and that contains two things: abilities and levels of your how you describe your abilities on your player board. Let's take a look. I'm going to put that back here, and maybe I should zoom. Oh, the hell, I forgot to zoom earlier. There, let's see if that can work. Okay, let's try that. Okay, cool. All right, finally the zoom has a great purpose. Okay, so abilities are these little tokens. So I'm going to pick one. Let's say that looks like dialogue, so maybe it's charisma or convincing. I'm going to attach it to my, oh, maybe I should put it straight there. And as the game proceeds, it's probably not the right color, but let's go with it. You will grow, and let's take a dice. Probably not the right one. I'm sure they're, you find the right one when it's time. I'm going to take a dice, and then you have your level. One thing is that you need also to balance it with a second skill you might put there. Let's say this one, which looks like, physical ability or something, endurance, maybe. And then, that one too will grow. So where do you want to grow? Which one do you want to be the highest to have a balanced character? And when you play and you need to use a dice for during your turn, that's where they goes down here, and they go back when your turn is done. And oh, my game is finished. Well, today all I have to do, put it like that, and voila, my game is saved. I can just put it back in the box when I come back. I'm ready to play. Oops. Let's go. So that is how those tokens are used and how you save your stuff in your game. Really well done. It's a good strategy. Works very well. So let's put those back in. And store this tray for the last time, because now I'm done showing everything it can do. And those tokens are done. One last thing inside here are other cards that are useful. Take a look. Again, dehumidifying piece. I think these are, narratives. So I'm going to just request. I'm going to just show one and leave it at that. And then we have our characters. Characters and skills. So we're going to take a look at, and what's interesting is that the cards are two-sided, and you have two cards per race. So that allows you to have two people playing the same race. So you want two dark elves? Well, you have two. You want a male and a female? Each card can choose that gender. So let's go from the top and take a look. So we have Khajiit and all the skills levels at the bottom. These are the values we're looking for during the game. So we got a Khajiit, and Lady Khajiit. Then we go with an orc, male and female. And we get the Red Guard. There we go. And Khajiit again. There we go. Orc. Oops, sorry. Went a little bit close. Orc again. That way. Red Guard. They're beautiful. They're really, really well done. Imperial. Breton. I don't know if you say Breton or Breton, but that's what it should say. A wood elf. Imperial. Breton once more. As I said, we have 2 cards of each, so we're going to find, you know, wood elves one more. High elf this time. Oops, I switched. Sorry. There we go. Nord. Argonian. Reptile. Like. High elf. Nord again. Argonian, the second card. The Dark Elf. The Dark Elf once more. There we go. I think we've got all our races done. And now we have all kinds of skills. Or class. I think that's class. So we have plenty. Acrobat, Knight, Sorcerer, Archer, Healer. And we have there at the bottom, I believe these are the tenacity level. So we have Bard, Spell Sword, Nightblade, Pilgrim, Templar, Warden, Rogue, and Dragon Knight. Now all these looks nice. You know what? You put them around your player board, and that's starting to take a lot of room inside your game. Think about that for a second. Let's continue this. I'll pause in a moment for the going somewhere else. We have a campaign journal, nothing fancy, but it shows how, you know, the campaign is progressing, how many experience points you've got, the quest you're taking, and keywords that you're accumulating, so that in the end, when you get to the dungeon, the keyword that you have will change the conditions on how you're going to face your final bad person. All right. And let's put that aside. There's another set of cards here. Those, I think, are weapon or stances that you have. You got the adventure turn reference, and then we have, then we have all kinds of skills or they're in the different categories of magic. Also, for grammatica, for stamina, as you can see, distribution staff, one end and shield, bow, and so forth. So all this needs to be around your character when you're playing. So that's a lot of material. I'm pausing again. Let's go into how did they deluxify the thing. And you get the advanced, what's the name? Official. The Deluxe Adventurer Inventory. This is a small, let's call it a binder, for lack of a better word. And it comes either as a single one, which I believe you purchase in green, and you can get a pack of 4, which have red and tan, and blue and green. Now all of them are identical, so I already opened this one. I'm going to show you how it works. There. All right, so you take your binder, and let's say I'm going to be a dark elf lady. So I can put that here. Again, because this is PVC, I'm not stressing about pushing the card, pulling. It's not going to break. Worst case is it's going to crease, but I have to really want it to do so. In the front and in the back, let's just say that I decided that this person would be a healer. So I can just put it that way. And that's my first part of my character, front and back. This is really beautifully made. It has nails all around to make it more hefty or as a nice look. Metal corners. This is pleather. This is not real, so if you're an animal lover, don't worry. Nothing has been harmed in confection of this. But it looks great. And inside you have room for those larger cards. For example, like this. They're tight. I'm telling you right now, they're really tight. First time I'm using one. And yeah. There. So you put your inventory with your accessories will go in here. Whoops. This time I had a bag for this again. I'm going to leave it there. And instead of having all over your character, you have a simple reference. You can just say, oh, you know what? Oh, it's +2, or it's that dice. That's what I'm looking for, and so forth. And when you're done, you just put it back. Bag went away. You put it back in the box, and you're good to go. Excuse me. Chittery says that there should be room for 4 all of those. That's probably going to make your lid go a little higher. But that's how you build your adventure book. That way. Let's see how easy it is to pull that one out. There are extra sleeves in here, more than you're going to need. So don't worry about lacking some of them. Let's see. There we go. Probably going to be easier as you get them in and out. And the last one, pull the healer out. And voila. So that's how you use those. Beautiful. That's an extra. You don't need that to play. You can just enjoy the box game, the base game. But part of the all-in, hey, I'm not going to say no thank you. They're really, really nice. All right, back to the box. Let's put those aside and see what else we have. Put this away. You know what? We're done with the main box. Doesn't mean we're done. There are some other extras we haven't explored yet. There are 3. Let's start with this. The art book. Now this is more than just an art book. When they started, people asked, is there a lore in there or just pictures? Chip Theory responded, well, ZeniMax and Bethesda, they have a company that makes lore books. So we're probably not capable of doing so. So I don't know what happened behind the scenes, and maybe we'll never know. However, they came back, Chip Theory, and said, you know what? They're okay with the lore. Let's put some in it. You're not going to get much because I have books of lore that are that thick on a single region. But for the game, what they've done is absolutely beautiful. Let's go. Let's start with the front. I don't know if you can see it. I think you can. This is embossed, so it's surfaces, the Ouroboros surfaces of the book. The touch is beautiful. Let's go to the top and take a look at what we got. Let's see if we can use the zoom once again. Yeah, perfect. All right, so this is those same 3 people I mentioned earlier for the art, and we're gonna have, I'm going to show you a few pieces just to give you an idea how beautiful this is. Maybe I should go back a little bit. I'm a little too close. There we go. So, talks about the door. Pictures are beautiful. Let me just move that aside. Ah, perfect. So, we get all kinds of art. The heroes, for example. Look at this. See, the Argonians we saw on the card. These are fairly the same images, but from a card where it was the size was much smaller, you can appreciate all the details that they have put in those pieces of art. And that goes like this all over. Go for the good guys, the bad guys, the enemies. And then we're going to get into the items. I don't know if I can, let's see if I can find that same piece I had before, because I had something to say. There it is. Here's the, let me get closer to show you. Here's the patty melt. There's a fun story about the patty melt. When it says it's the Scald King's patty melt, when they saw that, they thought, you know, let's go a little further and put a logo on it, just like, you know, there's a food chain restaurant with the name King that you probably know. So they decided to do something like this. But when they sent it for approval, ZeniMax came back and he said, you know what? That would be a problem with the timeline because you can't do markings like that on food. And they protected their lore the way they should do with their IP so that everything is coherent. So we still have the patty melt, but no letters on it. And it looks great. And it's, you know, it's one of the items you can get in the game. This is just beautiful. Good, nice book. Okay. Another extra piece, not necessary, but if you have it, you have it. A simple tray. Let's see if I can bring a few dice. I'm going to build it quick. Again, pleather works very well. I mean, it has the logo inside, and if you launch a few dice in it, you know, they roll well. It does the job. So, a nice addition. If you don't have any dice tray, that's a good one to have. Last thing we need to take a look at is the first region they made an extension for. Valenwood. Now, is it Valenwood or Valenwood? I don't know. I'm going to say Valenwood. We kind of have an idea of what's in there based on how it was done in the base game. So we should be expecting, neoprene, PVC, chips. That's the minimum. And dice. Let's see. Let's go from the top. And the extension doesn't disappoint. It is exactly what we were expecting. So we get cards, so quest and items. We get new abilities. We get enemy chips, plenty. And we get dice for those new abilities. Now notice the color scheme. That's interesting to know because they must search very hard to find new colors and make sure that these colors are not repeated and are also capable of working with people who have difficulty, are colorblind-ish in the realm of I don't see every color the same way as everyone else sees it closely. Did you know, I believe I've read it somewhere, that nobody sees really color the exact same color. So when you're looking at a red, a person besides you will say it's red as well, but you're not necessarily seeing the same red. It's not like we've been all calibrated with, what's the name of that company? Pantone, you know? It's not like we all have, hey, this is 2245, that's a red, and so forth. Tokens, look at this green. I was going to say almost Xbox, but I don't want to do any publicity, but it's really, really screaming red. We have new classes, Arcanist, Ranger, and get a few more. We have potential new armor or equipment for our fighters and heroes. Humidity once more. This is a new region. That means we have a new Gazetteer. Contains what? The regions. I'm sorry, the cities and point of interest, and then all the quests. It's about 52 pages to add to the 5 more that we have there. And finally, 2 pieces we're expecting. I'll go on the top for that. Neoprene 1 and 2. It's a double-sided. What is not double-sided is the map. That's Valenwood, but that there's nothing in the back. So just they could have kept it black, white, and no, they did a texture on it just for the kick of it. Just, you know, the last bit of detail. So let's take a look and see if there's anything I forgot to mention to make sure that we have covered everything we need to know about this impressive game. Yeah, when we backed it, we got a great reduction on the whole package. If you are seeking this out right now, the suggested retail price at their site is about $225. Now, I don't know how much retail presence it's going to have, or you might need to go to them, but expect to pay around this. And it is in par with other games of that size, you know, Frosthaven, Aradia, and so forth. So, yeah, it's in the ballpark. What else do I need to say? Expect long games. 2 hours to 4 hours in general. However, from the returns that we've heard from people, it's going to be a little more than that. At least at the beginning, the time you get used to play and to make it work with the structure, the turns, and so forth. What else? 9.2, I mentioned that. That's pretty much it. Other games that you might want to consider if you found that one interesting and you say, you know what, that's the kind of game that others, they're not exactly in the same genre, but close enough. Obviously, the one that a lot of the mechanics have been inspired from is Too Many Bones, again from Chip Theory. So it's considered a little harder to play, especially learning characters and classes. But this one, Elder Scrolls seems to be a little bit easier on that part, and other mechanics have been changed. If you like the Elder Scrolls, you're probably going to like Skyrim as well. It's not the same type of game, but this one's a mini-based game. It's still adventures and a lot of role-playing game in there. Fate Forge Chronicles of Khan is also another large realm that you explore. So you might want to take a look at that one as well. Oathsworn is also a big narrative game, whether you have the standy box or, you know, the pile of boxes with minis. It will do the job. I mentioned Aradia. We opened it together in a previous video. Divinity Original Sin is also another one that's inspired from a video game that you might want to look into. Tainted Grail is also a classic. that you might want to be interested in because of the nature of the deep narrative available. I wouldn't say lighter, but on a more initial level, you might want to look at Role Player Adventure. Also a big box, plenty of dice, but this time it's more, I think it's more introductory. For more, I wouldn't say beginner, but let's say for your first one. Recently delivered by, I think it's Synergy Games, Harakiri is also a large adventure game. This one more on an Asian influence. Uthia, if you want big boxes with myriads of tokens and components, that's another one. And finally, if you want more in a space environment, ISS Vanguard is also one with a binder portion in the experience, plus a lot of role playing. Sorry to interrupt. A little supplement in our unboxing. Chip Theory Games has a tendency to create some small extensions available on their website, and for Elder Scrolls, they didn't falter and created one as well. Cheeses of Tamriel. It's an extension of 20 cheeses, 20 items you can add to your game in the items, and it brings, health power and stuff like that. Let's take a look at these cards. They're in PVC the same way as the cards in the game. So I'm going to just show them to you, and that'll make our unboxing complete. So let's take a look. Each of them bring something different. There we go. Oops, and that's the last. There we go. So that's the Cheeses of Tamriel extension. Thank you for watching, and let's return to the main menu, main program. Until next time, bye-bye. That's it. That was the unboxing. Thank you very much for being here. We at Gaming in All Directions, Jeux tous azimuts, we explore the world of games, and maybe one of them, this one from Chip Theory Games, will tickle your fancy and you'll be interested. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Until next time. Bye-bye.